All right, we are the Odd Couple, and we are all the way live from the TireRack.com studios. Did you know that Discover Card wants everyone to feel special? And that's why with your Discover Card, you got access to 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability. All that means is that you are never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit. Limitations do apply. We got a special interview about Big Brothers, Big Sisters of America. Oh, no, we don't. I'm sorry. We will do that.
We got Gary
tomorrow,
Myers coming
possibly.
on later this hour.
Gary Myers, all right, from the New York Daily News, correct? Yes.
Longtime NFL writers, got a book out, friend of the show.
Used to be with the New York Daily News, right? We've had him on before. Yes, that'll be good. Gary Myers at the bottom of the hour. My apologies. All right, Rob, it was announced during the update that they have just started, right, the NFL honors ceremony, and they're going to announce all of the winners for the regular season awards. And it is highly expected that Lamar Jackson will win his second MVP award, Rob. Well-deserved, even though, he went out with a whimper in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, but that was voted on before that game. So
it's a regular season award,
Yep.
and it's voted on before the playoffs even start. So here's the question I want to throw at you, Rob. Do you think this will be Lamar Jackson's last MVP?
Not at all. I don't think so because, he could wind up being like Peyton Manning, who struggled early on in his career, Chris, in the postseason. What did he finish? Under 500 lifetime?
No, he didn't finish that. He was finished 14-13 because he went to Denver,
14-13.
but
Okay.
he was 3-6 before he won his first Super Bowl.
Right.
in the
Right.
playoffs. Yeah.
So, no, I don't think so. He's a unique talent. We saw what he's able to do. He's still young because, and I know there are a lot of young quarterbacks as well, but the guy wins at such a high rate, 75, 70%, whatever it is. I still think there's room. I think if I had to pick a number, Chris, I think he could wind up with 4 MVPs.
Wow.
I really do.
There's only 2 people with 4.
I know, but he won.
Aaron Rodgers has 4. Peyton Manning has 5.
Right. But I'm saying this because even in Aaron Rodgers' case, Chris, he got 2 very late, right? He had 2, and then he came on strong at the end and got 2 late ones. Lamar, what gives him legs for maybe 2 more is that, and this is something you pointed out, the first guy to win 2, right, by age 27. Like, he's doing it on the young end. So I think that there's a chance that he could get to 4. I really do. I'm not so sure the Ravens are going away. Obviously they had a very disappointing, circumstance. And that's still, depending on what they do next year and how well he plays, I still think he could compete for it.
I think he will not win another MVP award until he wins a Super Bowl. I think that even though it's a regular season award, a lot of what players do in the playoffs seeps into voters' thinking. I think in basketball, we kind of saw that with Jokic, Rob, that he had won 2 MVPs and had been a disappointment in the playoffs.
Yeah, but that
And so he
backfired on
didn't
people
wanna-
who believe
it didn't really backfire. I
Yes,
mean,
it
he just
did.
didn't get how.
Because
How'd it backfire?
they're not supposed to do that. They're
No,
not
but
sup-
that
no,
wasn't what
but
you
let me
said.
just-
You
let
said
me
it
just-
backfired.
Let me just
Explain
give
how
you-
it backfired.
Because he wound up having an unbelievable playoff run.
Okay.
And it shouldn't factor in. It's a regular season award, and you shouldn't count what's happened in the postseason as anything. I mean, not one iota,
Shouldn't,
not one
but people
scintilla.
do.
Well, but I'm
People
just telling
do.
you. I don't
But
think
I'm just
that that's
telling you
the way
what
it should
happened,
go.
how voters do it.
Well, I think that's dumb, and they gave the award. They gave the
It-
award.
It's how it works,
On-
and it
on-
didn't backfire on anybody. Ain't nobody who did you get in
Yeah,
trouble
because
Jokic
no,
didn't win
but-
MVP?
No, but
Nobody got in trouble.
But
and
your
Joel
argument
Embiid is out coming back playing better than ever this year.
No,
until he
but
got
your
hurt.
argument is that Joel Embiid has been small in the postseason. So why
Right.
would you reward him with an MVP and then he followed that up with a terrible postseason?
If he
So
wins,
my point.
I'm gonna answer your question. If Joel Embiid, like the way he was playing this year, he was the front runner for MVP.
Why? He had a terrible postseason, Chris. Doesn't that count against him?
Because it's a regular season
Okay.
award.
That's what I'm
now. If he had won the MVP this year and played poorly in the playoffs again, he wouldn't get another MVP award till he did something in the playoffs. That's just how it works. Human beings vote, not machines. And there has never, ever been an NFL quarterback or player who won a third MVP award without having already won a Super Bowl. Because people look at what you do in the postseason.
Chris,
and
let
on
me
top
ask you,
of that,
stop. Let me stop you. If the Ravens go 17-0 and he puts up great numbers,
What are great
Let me
numbers for
ask
him?
you. Let me just ask you this.
First of all,
Chris,
don't be
I'm
yelling
asking
like
you.
you talking to a child.
I'm asking you to just listen to what I'm saying. You're telling me that he wouldn't win the MVP if they finished 17-0 and he played well. Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to answer your question. Lamar Jackson doesn't put up typically great MVP numbers. He didn't win the MVP this year because of his numbers. And even in the year, he's never thrown for 4,000 yards.
Why'd he win this year?
Because the team was 13-3
So if they're
and he was
17-0, would he win the MVP?
No.
Is what I'm asking.
I don't
saying
think
no.
if he puts up
Okay.
his typical numbers,
I
I don't
totally
think so.
disagree. I think that's ridiculous to think that the quarterback
And you throwing
who's
out-
won at 70.
throwing out
I gotta do it. It's
17-0.
called hypothetical.
Yeah, but throw out
It's
something
called
realistic.
hypothetical.
How many teams in
Who
history?
said it's that's realistic? 16-1. Is that good?
That's
How about
better.
16-1?
That's better.
Come on,
'Cause it's
Chris,
more
you can't
realistic.
sit here and go, he won't win the MVP because he didn't play well in the playoffs, and the only way he can win is he got to. Come on, man. Stop. You can't sit here
Again.
today and say he can't win the MVP.
Will you
Just
first of
stop
all,
that.
Are you even listening? First of all, don't tell me what to stop. I don't
I'm
tell you
telling
what to
you.
stop. I don't tell you what to stop. You got your opinion, I got mine.
I disagree today
Well,
wholeheartedly.
disagree. That's fine. But don't tell me to stop. So what I'm saying, and if you listen, you wouldn't have even made that comment because I never said he couldn't win another MVP. I said I don't believe he will win another MVP until he wins a Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. Now if he wins the Super Bowl next year, maybe he'll win another MVP after that.
Can I
But
ask
I
you a
don't
question?
believe, because of history, there's never been a quarterback to win a third MVP without having first won a Super Bowl.
So if he goes to the Super Bowl next year and the defense gives up 45 points and he plays well, he can't win an MVP because he lost the Super
Rob,
Bowl. Is that
I'm
what you're
just
saying?
telling you history.
I'm asking you history.
I'm telling you history.
Chris,
I made my statement. You don't have to come back with no crazy hypotheticals.
Why?
I'm saying with
because
my
it doesn't
chest.
make sense.
No,
Even
because
with
you throw out crazy hypotheticals.
How is it crazy?
I'm about to tell you if you stop interrupting me. Because you think if you yell, you might win the argument.
It
What
ain't
I'm
about
saying
yelling.
is,
I'm trying
what
to get
in-
a point.
what in
It's
stop
called
yelling?
passion. It's
Look,
called
you
passion.
can have passion without
That's
yelling.
what I do. You want me to just be here meekly and listen to
I
you?
want you to let me speak.
Talk.
And I want you to... This is what happens when you don't have a good argument. When you get emotional,
No, this is
all
what
you
you
want to do
say
is
all
yell
the
over.
time.
See, you're
All
yelling
you do,
over me now.
This is what
You're
you
yelling
say
over,
every time you're confronted with a flimsy statement, and it's flimsy that he won't win if he don't win.
It's actually
an
based
MVP.
on history,
It ain't.
Rob.
So what? History changes
never
all
happened.
the time, Chris.
It's never happened.
And nobody had ever won two MVPs by age 27.
Okay,
Did that
that's
change
fine.
history? Okay,
That's
then.
fine. But
that's
this
my
ain't-
point.
Here's my other point. And I wish you would listen instead of getting emotional like a 10-year-old and yelling and not
I'm
letting the person.
60. I ain't
I know,
10.
but you act like you're 11. I'll give you 11. Why don't you act like you're 60 and let somebody else talk? And so what I'm saying is his numbers generally aren't MVP type numbers. So when you factor in he hasn't won a Super Bowl, he hasn't overall played well in the playoffs, and then his numbers aren't eye-popping to begin with, that's why I'm saying, and then historically nobody's gotten this third MVP after without having won a Super Bowl. I think he's going to have to win another Super Bowl before he wins a third MVP, if he ever does win a third MVP. That's my point.
Couldn't disagree more. I just think that things change in history, just like he won a second MVP before at 27, and he didn't lead the league in offensive in touchdowns and yards because people looked at it deeper than that. It ain't just the eye-popping stats. You realize what an impact player he is and how much he affects the game. And thank God we have writers and people who are voting on this who are not just going to look at stats without looking at with other things, factors that matter in picking an MVP. That's all I'm saying.
How do you know they're not going to look at that?
Because he didn't have great numbers as a quarterback this year. That's how.
I agree, but this year it was an exception. This was a serious exception. And he was great, and he deserved MVP as far as I'm concerned. But I think next year, if everything were to happen the same as it happened this year, next year, I don't think he'd win MVP. Because I think people would take what happened in the playoffs into consideration.